Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more.
Kansas, the progressive art rock ensemble from Topeka, has sold over 30 million albums, is known for their classic recordings of the 70s and 80s, their highly complex music filled with odd time signatures, uniquely orchestrated rhythms, and vocals that ride above their musicality and their technical proficiency. Now the group is taking their audience into the 21st century with the release of the highly anticipated, groundbreaking concert film DVD, Device, Voice, Drum, through Compendium Music Group, along with a double concert CD of the same name. The DVD was shot on film as opposed to videotape at Earthlink Live down in Atlanta, Georgia, and is of the highest performance audio-video quality possible with cutting-edge computer-animated effects. Truly an experience for the eyes as well as the ears. Kansas has also issued a 2-CD set, The Ultimate Kansas, on Epic Legacy Recordings, their most unforgettable compositions from 1974 through 83. In the early 1970s, after signing with Don Kirshner, the music impresario, and his Kirshner Records label, an offshoot of CBS Records, the Midwestern progressive hard rock band gave the world their sound through their albums. Kansas, Song for America, Mask, Leftoverture, Point of No Return, the concert album Two for the Show, Monolith, and more. The huge classic tunes, Song for America, The Wall, Miracles Out of Nowhere, Portrait, The Pinnacle, People of the Southwind, On the Other Side, and of course the monumental classic hits, Point of No Return, Dust in the Wind, and Carry On Wayward Son. Joining me now from Kansas, Steve Walsh, their vocalist and keyboardist, drummer Phil Eart, and violinist and singer Robbie Steinhardt, to talk about the band's rich past and their enthusiasm for this exciting new DVD and companion CD. Gentlemen, nice to have you here and welcome. Thanks. I want to start by holding this up. Device, Voice, Drum, the new DVD. I want to know how it first came about and why the strong urge to do this.
Hello, Phil.
Well, we just didn't have anything in the marketplace. I mean, it had really been since like 1992 since we had any video or film footage of this band at all. So with the advent of the DVD, we kind of looked at ourselves and said, we should do a DVD. I'm not sure who it was that said it originally, but it was something we kind of talked about for a number of years that we'd like to do it. And so we finally had the time and the space in our schedule to do it, and so we set about putting it together. Really nothing more than just saying to ourselves, let's do it.
But it was a huge undertaking. I want you to talk to me about the magnitude of the ambitious project, insofar as it's shot on film as opposed to videotape, as I mentioned. So there was a lot of preparation. So tell me about the magnitude and the ambition behind it.
Well, it was it was ambitious because it was just the five of us sitting down and saying, let's do it, and having to go out and get the components to make it work. But it was mainly the five guys, you know, picking the material, and I remember Steve, said, I think it was originally Steve's idea to want to do it in film. And of course that gave it a whole different spin because the cost was going to double just doing it in film. So it was just legwork of you know, contacting Compendia, knowing that if we did make a product that they would release it, and then of course finding a production company to shoot it in film and to have them come out on the road, the band sitting together and talking about the songs we wanted to do, and then putting the concert together. Where are we going to do it? How are we going to do it? Where these people are going to, where are they going to come from? And so once we kind of got that together, then the night of actually, you know, shooting it was a night that none of us will ever forget. Then the next day it was into post-production and looking at all the different edits and all the different looks and doing some of the overdubs and some of the things that we had to fix in the original concert. I mean, it was just, it was a huge undertaking, but it was something that the band had a focus on and knew what we wanted, and we'd come in and look at it and listen to what we were doing and either like it or, you know, some songs made it on, some songs didn't make it. It was, it took a lot of work, but it was everybody focused on that particular product. Of course, things like the animation just happened by accident because from the name of the project being Device Voice Drum, we happened to look at Wayne Lytle's animation, which is called Animusic, for an album cover. And once we saw what he could do in the animation, well, he then customized it to some of Steve's, some of the
MIDI files.
yeah, the MIDI files that Steve put together.
Steve, was this the videotape? I mean, was this the DVD that you expected to put out, that you saw from the onset in your mind's eyes? Was it everything you expected it to be?
Yeah, pretty much. See, we had already done a video back, which was called Live at the Whiskey, and it came out all right. When was it? 93.
93, yeah.
And you know, it was in front of an audience at the Whiskey in Los Angeles, and it was all shot on video. So we kind of just, I mean, I just kind of wanted to see if we could do it on film, because I know existing light is a lot friendlier to film. So, you know, and we looked at DVDs and all of them that we saw premiere were on video. And so we just kind of came to the conclusion that we wanted to do something a little bit different, a little bit, you know, ours.
Set yourself apart from everybody else.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, just capture this band on film was, I mean, that's great, because we hadn't, you know, especially with me being gone for a while, I hadn't done anything like that in years, and it just turned out to be like two of the greatest nights of our lives. I mean,
You know, interesting. I want to stay with that for a minute, Robbie. Going back in terms of the preparation for it, you actually just did a dress rehearsal the night before, and then bang, shot it. So it wasn't like you took a few nights.
no,
you know,
it was wham, bam, thank you very much. It was all over with.
So the excitement is really captured.
It was so intense, though. It's, probably still haven't come down from that experience. It
yeah,
was really amazing.
I had in my notes that you said that this concert was at the top, was one of the top 10 events you have ever experienced.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
elaborate on that for me.
Well, it's just, it was in a small place that used to be called Center Stage, and now it's called Earthlink Live in Atlanta. It holds, if you don't put people on the floor, which we didn't because we were set up on the floor.
And the choir was up top
And the
on
choir
stage.
and the string
What a
quartet
great-
were up on the stage behind us.
Great
And
way
this
of doing
place-
it.
So if you don't put people on the floor, you have 700 seats. And it's a perfect size. It looks larger in the dark, of course, and sounds larger in the dark. Plus, it just seemed like the ideal place to do something like that. And it was kind of, the deck was kind of stacked because these were all fans of ours. I mean, real big fans of ours.
Hardcore.
So since we only sold tickets online, and not a lot of people actually knew this was even going on. So, but what an experience! I can't even describe it to you. It was just really something.
But speak to why one of the top 10 for you.
Because my life has been really boring. No, I don't know. It just, you can ask anybody in this band. It just turned out to be an amazing experience. The adrenaline pumping was just, I mean, unstoppable and almost scary at times.
What about the most difficult parts of working on this? Things that you really had to bear down, you know, and say to yourself, I got to dig down deep, because there's a few things in this that are going to be speed bumps. It's going to be a little difficult.
Well, I think I can speak for everybody, the hardest thing was the gig. To not think about the cameras, not think about the people, not think about the things that could go wrong, but just to sit back and to perform and do what we did best after thinking about this night for the last year and a half, to finally be there and just go, okay, just relax and play and don't worry about stuff. Especially in the middle of it when the director comes in and goes, by the way, I don't mean to alarm everybody, but there's a chance we may run out of film. And I looked at Rich, and Rich looked at me. I'm just going, oh my gosh. He goes, I'm not sure, but I don't think, because we had, like one song, I'd broken a drumstick, so we had to start over again, and there was a few technical things. We had to start a couple songs over again. Well, you can't do that too much because you only have so much film.
Exactly.
You know, it's not like we had 40 hours of film. We had about, 2 hours of film. As it turned out, we had 5 minutes of extra film left, so we cut it pretty short. And of course, that's doing all the encores and doing all the post-production stuff. So we were very fortunate to. So that I think I can say it was just. And of course, we had lasers, we had the choir behind us, we had the string quartet, we had so many things that we don't ordinarily have. Like Steve was saying, the hardest thing was going to be for him was not getting caught up on all the stuff going around, the lasers, and just acting like you see lasers all the time. We haven't had lasers in 20 years, you know, and kind of going, yeah, that's no big deal. But in the meantime, you're going, God, this is really cool. So it was.
But when you stop and think about it, the music really does lend itself to choir and symphony, strings, you know, and so this really brings all the elements together. That's what was perfect about when I finally sat down and got a chance to watch it. I said, this is what the band is all about. How has it rejuvenated you, Steve, and the rest of the guys, you think?
Well, it's something that we're really proud of, you know. And whenever after 3 or 4 months you can still be proud of a project, and you know that's a real attribute. You know, it's just it's a document that you know I figure will encapsulate our past, you know, in visual form, and so. And work like Phil said, you know, working with this animation and stuff, that was very cool.
Took it to another level.
It was just really neat because, you know, we all aspire to do crossover things, you know, crossover into other fields of entertainment. And, you know, luckily Wayne was in tune with that also.
Robbie, when you think about how it's changed you gentlemen as musicians, and also your outlook on this craft of music, how would you speak to that?
You got me.
I mean, it must have stirred some kind of passion, some feeling.
You mean you're talking about the DVD itself, or are you speaking of
yeah,
that?
the DVD,
I'm sorry,
you know, doing it like this, the performance, the concert, re-energizing the music, or rediscovering the music. How has it changed? How has it changed you guys as musicians first, and also your outlook on the craft of making music?
Well, I don't know that it has really changed us because it's just something that sort of comes natural. What we do after all these years, it's kind of second nature. I mean, and watching me mess up tonight real bad just because I said that. But I guess it was kind of a booster shot, I suppose. So in that way, it has changed us. Yeah, you're right. It's revitalized us a bit, but I've never really thought of it in those terms. That's why when you asked me, I kind of froze.
Well, it's kind of like a musical blood transfusion, if you will. You know, you kind of just think to yourself, "Whoa!" It becomes uplifting. It becomes inspirational. It gives you that shot of adrenaline musically
well, it's
inside
true.
yourself.
I mean, it's possible that I hadn't felt that kind of adrenaline rush, you know, since back in maybe in the '70s when we were, you know, playing for 20,000 people a pop, and things were still relatively fresh with us. So yeah, I guess in that way it's sort of renewed.
But
at least for me it has.
But do you feel like night after night there comes a point where you do have to almost reinvent the music because you've played it so many times? And you really can't alter it that much because each night the crowds do want to see the same.
But just like with all of us, we try to add little things here and there or change things that maybe we haven't liked down through the years. But I mean, pretty much, you're right. We pretty much have a standard, pretty much of a guideline of what we have to play because people are expecting to hear those
arrangements
things.
you can't go too far.
So you can't change the melody too much.
Or
things
the
like
arrangements,
that.
right?
Phil will throw in an occasional beat that's really cool or something. We'll look at each other like, yeah, it's like. And we didn't change things, at least I didn't, and I didn't feel that we did change things for a lot of years until we realized, you know, just need a little bit of new blood here and there. So just to have something to relate to each other with that's new and different on stage every night. So
Phil,
we try to do that a bit.